misinterpreted foul violations. Fun stuff.
All right, so the first one we're going to go over, guys, is a travel. It's probably one of the most misinterpreted fouls that you're going to have in the game. Like we saw in the video yesterday, is anytime someone has their pivot foot down like this is their pivot foot. Oh, I want to make sure it's on there. It's just because if he speaks, I'm going to hold it up to him. This is their pivot foot, right? If they pick that up before they put the ball down, like we saw in the video yesterday with the player who went from here all the way to here without dribbling the ball, best guess is they probably traveled. What else?
The jump stop.
All right, the jump stop. Okay, so if a player comes down and they're going to make a jump stop, they have to land with both feet, just like that. If they're coming down and they land with one foot and then the other, like this, then that's a travel. Easy call, especially if they try and make a move outside of that.
All right, so let's head on down. Which side is better? Let's go down this side. All right, so block charge situations. It's very exciting. All right, so
Hold the ball.
yeah, go ahead, hold it. So for block charge situations, I was telling them over there the same thing. There's at least going to be one player this season when you're reffing. You're going to call a charge, and he's going to look at you and he's going to say, "What are you talking about? He's under the semicircle. He's under the halo." For you guys that watched a college game and pro game, you know they have the halo on the court. There's not one on here, so we do not have that rule. So easy way to explain that. Call them, "Hey man, there's no halo on the court. We don't play by that rules. We play high school rules." That's all you need to say. And I guarantee you're going to have someone say it. For those of you that aren't familiar with it, it's just an area on the court that they have painted. They use it at the higher levels. We don't use it here. So that being said, anywhere on this floor, someone is allowed to take a charge as long as they have both feet in bounds. They can take a charge all the way back out until here. That's completely legal as long as both feet are on the court in bounds. All right. Another misconception about the charge call is that the defense can be moving and take a charge. All right. So how I was explaining this to them is that if you have a player, that knows what they're talking about, and your explanation to him for why it was called a charge is that you were moving, let's try to be a little bit more specific than that. Because technically, as long as he's playing defense, he can move backward, takes a charge. That's perfectly legal. The guy just runs over him. So let's be a little more specific. Let's say, hey, you slid in late right in front of him, or you stuck out in a knee or something like that. All right, if we're going to call it a block. All right. And one of the big points of emphasis that I think we really want to nail this year is offensive players extending the arms. I know I see you playing intramurals all the time and stuff, and as new officials, it's definitely an unconventional call to make. To call, the typical charge you call on an offensive player is the one where you have him ram right over him. That's your standard charge you see every day. But the unconventional one that really affects the game is when you have that point guard driving to the hoop and he's shoving away that defender. Completely illegal. Not allowed at all. Definitely a lot more unconventional to call. But once you call it a few times, you get more comfortable calling it and it'll clean up the game. Because if the odds are if he does it one time, that's just how he plays. And he's going to do it again until you have him stop by calling the foul on him. All right, legal screens. Yeah. Or do you want me to hold this?
All right, so what's your name?
Ryan.
So say Ryan is playing defense, right? And do you guys think that if I'm setting a screen on Ryan, I'd be allowed to set a screen on him like this? Why not? Anyone want to tell me why? He can't see me? Exactly. So if he can't see me and a player comes to set a screen on someone that can't see them, they have to give them space, or at least time to react. So if he turns, he's going to see me before I hit him. Does that make sense? What else? Illegal screening. You have to stay within your body space. So if I'm screening somebody, they can't swing their hip out. You're going to see this a lot in the men's games. If someone's playing defense and they set a screen, and they're going to try and slow the defender down by putting their arm out, putting their hip out, putting their leg out, and it's going to slow the defender down. If we see it, we want to make that call immediately and early in the game, because it'll make it easier for us later in the game to make that call as well.
another, along with sticking the knee out, sticking the arm out, once you get to those higher level games, those guys know to stand still and to not move. So what they're going to do is they're going to try to alter the play after it happens, meaning they're going to try to hold on to that guy who's trying to get by them. You know, when that guy, once they run the pick and roll, they might try to hold on to them. They might try to shove the defender off of them, you know, discreetly to try to make a layup. What do you mean that wasn't an illegal screen? I was still the whole time. It's like, nah, man, right when you rolled off, you pushed off him. That's not legal. That's not allowed at all. So let's make sure we nail those things. Once again, very unconventional calls to make our illegal screens, but very important to make them. Because as I know anyone that's played intramurals here can attest to, it happens almost all the time. These are, you know, we don't have the cream of the crop out here playing basketball. All right, so you're going to have a lot of guys out here that are going to be doing things like that. So let's make sure we call them.
So for illegal screens, the position you'll be in where you're going to make most of those calls is center. And that's because you're going to be able to see a lot more of the court than trailing the lead, and you're going to be kind of focusing in on things like that. If any of you ref one of my games, what's going to happen is we're going to be setting a lot of screens places like here, which is a great place for center to see. If you see people setting screens on the low blocks here, they're going to be coming out like this. They're going to be grabbing jerseys, and those are calls that we definitely want to be making.
And if you see it, and maybe you missed it the first time, you don't feel comfortable with it, keep in your mind, tell the big man on the way running back down the floor, hey, on that screen, make sure you stand still because I saw you stick your hip out. And maybe because you didn't call it and missed it, maybe you can just talk to him and he'll know not to do it, and then you don't have to worry about it later in the game. Backcourt violation?
Sure.
I'll get you the ball.
Awesome. Let's go this way, guys. So like we talked about in the classroom yesterday, is that to be in the front court, you need to have both feet and the ball. So if I'm dribbling here, still in the backcourt, still in the backcourt, still in the backcourt, until this. That 10-second count doesn't stop until they are completely in the front court. Like we said yesterday, if I'm back here and I throw the ball, the count doesn't stop until the ball hits the ground or a player catches it. If you're in the front court, of course, on the line, past the line, it's an immediate backcourt for us. You blow the whistle, you go like this, it's going the other way. If someone's inbounding the ball, like if Josh is inbounding the ball to me, I can be, here, step out for a sec. I can be, right, I'm going that way. I can be in the backcourt when he inbounds me the ball. This is completely allowed for us. As well, if I'm still going that way and my team is inbounding on that baseline, they can throw it all the way back here to someone way back here to catch it. It's completely allowed.
Also, if there is a situation where, I take the ball, now I'm in the front court, all right? Defender steals it, pokes it into the back court. As long as he's allowed to touch it in the front court, I'm completely allowed to go back and get it and dribble on back in, all right? Carries. So the main thing you want to watch for in carries, and I don't want to say that they happen all the time, we miss them, because it actually is pretty tough to call like a legit carry, is if the ball's resting on the palm of your hand without, as you see I go like that, it falls off my hand, but if it's resting flat on my hand, that's a carry. So like Drew was telling the group over there, a good way I thought he described it was, if you really just come underneath that ball and see that player dribble and go like that, that's very likely a carry.
It's very fast, guys. So what we see a lot out here is players who are going like this. You see that? How I'm picking the ball up and putting it right back down immediately. They can pick it up like this. They can stop at any time. I can just be like this, right? So we want to get those calls. Something that we saw in the video is that if you're playing defense on me and I'm coming down the floor like this, you'll see this at high-level men's games all the time. They think it's a hesitation. It is not. They go like this. They pick the ball up all the way and put it down because they think they're about to cross over. And you're going to beat a defender really quickly with that, but it's also something that we really want to call.
All right, so I know Andy's drilled in legal guarding position for 5-second closely guarded counts pretty well, so the 3 criteria for that. Anybody want to shout out? So, yeah, facing 6 feet, and the last one? Exactly,
yep,
both feet on the ground. So, make sure we go ahead and we count our closely guardeds because in the high-level games, that's things that players know. I mean, that's a turnover right there. If they can play pressure defense without fouling and stay close enough on them, then that's turnover. So let's make sure we're counting. If there is a 5-second, say I'm on offense, Drew's guarding me, all right? This obviously, we have our referee counting the 5 seconds right here. Say he comes and plays defense, and then Drew walks away. As long as he's within the 6 feet radius of me dribbling, that count still goes on. Now, if he runs away, and then a second later he comes in, and there's no area, then we restart that count, all right? So it can switch off. There can be 2 people guarding him at the same time. All right, that kind of stuff is legal, it is allowed, and the count just continues and goes on.
You'll be making this call a lot of trail. It's going to happen up here in this area of the court because it's where people are going to be ball handling the most. They're going to be standing there like this, waiting for the play to develop, and it's an easy call for us to make. It's something that we want to be calling early in the game so that we're allowed to call it later, and they're not going to argue with us.
Yeah. And so when does that count end? Any pass, shot, or dribble past the defender, then our count's going to end. All right. Now, if they dribble past the defender, then all of a sudden come back up here and start doing this number again, then we just start a new count. All right. That's simple. Post play and the 2 points of contact.
I can do that. So, go ahead. I'll just show them while you're talking. Okay. So, for post play, come right here. Is if they don't have the ball, like Andy said, we are completely allowed. Players are completely allowed to have this arm bar or a point of contact. They can be like this. They can be like this. They're allowed to do that. Once the player catches the ball, they need to be completely off of that player. We'll see most of the time with post play, it's 2 big guys who will be guarding each other the whole game. So what we want to do early in those games is make this call early so that if they catch the ball and they're like this, we blow the whistle, or at least we do what's called preventative reffing, where if it's happening and we're seeing it, tell them, let them know, talk them through it. Watch the arm, watch the arm, watch the arm. If they keep doing it, then that's an easy call for us.
When I'm in the post, when I'm watching the post and I'm at lead, what I like to kind of keep in my mind when I'm looking for, push fouls, 2 points of contact fouls, is any displacement. That's kind of the term I keep in my head. Is that defender displacing the offensive player? If so, go ahead and call the foul. It's that simple. All right. And 2 points of contact obviously carries anywhere on the floor. So while you're going to have maybe an arm bar and a knee in the post, what you're going to see up top with your guard is the defender reaching out, putting 2 hands on him. At any point, if that defender puts 2 hands on me, that's an automatic foul. Now, we allow that feeler hand. So if I'm dribbling, Drew puts that on real quick, he takes it right back away. All right, that's fine. We'll let that go. We'll put it on. We'll take it away as long as he takes it away. Now, if he keeps it on there, that's obviously a foul. That's not legal. All right.
For that also, you'll see in a lot of the higher level men games is if he's dribbling the ball and he's trying to go this way, and like Andy said, there's this placement here where I'm preventing him from moving with my arm, then that's an easy call for us as well.
Yeah, don't let the defender guide the offensive player to a spot on the floor. That basically means the guy playing offense is getting pushed. So that's going to be a foul. That is all for commonly misinterpreted fouls and violations. Any questions, anyone? No? All right, cool.